Hi guys, it's Justin, and what I want to do is, I think it's quite obvious that a lot of people are very interested what life is like in Dubai. And as you may have heard in my previous video, and if you didn't, just have a listen to that. It tells you what brought me to Dubai and how I ended up setting up a business here. I just thought I'd give you the lowdown, the unscripted, but the real life sort of worldview on what life is like in Dubai. Because all you see these days are people moving to Dubai, telling you how amazing the beaches are, how tax-free life is, and they don't really, I don't think they sort of scratch the surface at all on what actually running a business out here is like, what life is like, and how easy, difficult it is for someone to settle here. Also, I'm being honest with you, running a recruitment business, I've never known so many people want to move here. So it's fiercely competitive at the moment, and I think people need to sort of understand that and be real that if you're going to come here, particularly if you're going to come here looking for work, it's bloody hard and it's bloody expensive. And scrap out the tax-free part, you're going to be spending a lot of money in order to get you where you want to go. But if you can stick it out and you can be resilient and you can build over some of the things I'm going to talk about now, then you can have a great life. But the beginning part ain't easy. Let's just be frank about that. So let me start. Now, I came here in Dubai in 2008. I saw people who become millionaires in like a year, 6 months from the market being so crazy. I then saw those people have to leave town, cars dumped at the airport, people run out of money, people scrapping around looking for jobs. I saw very, very quickly the glitz and glamour and the spend nature, and then I very quickly saw everyone's lost their job. It's a bit of a disaster zone. People have left and riddled with debt. And in those days, you didn't want to be in debt in this part of the world because a bounce check meant that the police could come after you. So it was quite scary if you were in debt then. And that was I think when I got here, that was a real sort of wake up call as to what the bit behind the scenes can be that people don't tell you about what life can be like in the Middle East. Everyone I noticed as well when I arrived had financed cars, were paying a lot for rent, like one check for rent. People were maxing out on their credit cards. People were living a life. A lot of people I noticed were living a life as if they were on holiday the whole time. And guess what? Those people left in debt. Those people left not in great shape compared to how they could have been had they taken advantage of the amazing things that living out here can bring. So let me take it back. As a business owner, setting up in Dubai is a lot easier than it used to be back in my day. I set up and I had to have go into partnership with a local. You can still do that, but you don't. A lot of people set up a free zone business or an onshore entity now. So setting up a business involves things like getting your degrees attested, marriage certificates attested. If you don't know what attested is, that means you've got to go to the UAE embassy and get various different stamps certifying that your documentation is accurate. You normally need a degree of sorts out here. It's not essential, but it makes your life a lot easier if you have one. I don't have a degree, hence why it's never been that easy for me. So getting a business set up here is, it's quite expensive. It can be anywhere between $2,000 to $5,000 depending on the process that you're on, plus all your visa costs on top of that. If you're going to go and get employed out here, or after you get a job sorted out here, you need to obviously come out. Now, your employer might fly you out. They'll get your visa. They'll get your Emirates ID for you. That'll take anywhere between 2 and 6 weeks depending on the business, and you will then need to find your own accommodation. And rents here are, I'd say, pretty much London prices now. If you think about the center of town you go, the more expensive it is. You can go out then to the suburbs, the cheaper it is, but then you've got to throw factors in like getting a car, etc. in. And transportation around Dubai it's very much a car city. It's not really somewhere where you can rely on public transport, I don't think. So most people will have to factor in getting in a car. Let's go back to what the business climate is like. So after I set the business up, you then got to open a bank account. You can't do anything until you got your Emirates ID. If you're a business owner, you've got to get your trade licenses. You've got to make sure everything's lined up. You've got to convince the bank you're going to be a successful business. It's a bit of an arduous backwards and forwards affair, to be honest with you, opening up banks here. But let's say you eventually got through that, you've done it, you got your business up and running. For us as a recruitment business, the first thing we need to do is obviously get customers. Hugely competitive market now. When I set up, it was pretty much an open playing field. Now, I think what with the recessions that have kicked on in Europe, global interest into coming into the Middle East right now, there are multiple different recruitment companies that have set up here. There are multiple multiple different companies across all different industries that have set up here. The market, there are more people here, but let's be frank, there is like 9 million people in the UAE. There's 30 million or so people in Saudi. It's not a densely populated part of the world. So you've got a lot of companies here. You've not got a vast amount of people. You've got all the ingredients for a hyper competitive market. So to be good here, to stand up here, you need to be really good at what you do. Fact, okay? So be prepared to come in and work your socks off to try and probably work harder to try and get money that's probably equivalent to, say, you coming in the UK market. Second point, there is a big race to the bottom market here. Now, there's a lot of companies that rather than understand what their or showcase what their professional and competitive edge is, they'll just charge cheaper money. They'll offshore most of their business. Obviously, India and Pakistan around the corner. There's a lot of companies from that from Southeast Asia that can offer very cheap rates because a lot of their manpower is coming from that part of the world where cost of living is cheaper. What I mean is there's a lot of people here that will compete with you on price. So it's a very recruitment rates here, I find. In Asia, there are 20-25% we're getting. Here you have to really fight hard to get sort of 18-20%. You've got people that are doing 8%, 10%, and that can be a bit of a shock for people that have come here. So be prepared to negotiate bloody hard on your rates. So that's one thing I want to talk to you about, pricing. Secondly, professionalism. This part of the world, it's somewhere where you've got to really fight to get paid. You've got to fight hard to get paid. I've always been able to benchmark my Asia business, my Middle East business, how difficult it is to get paid. We've got a full-time legal consultant in the Middle East. We've got our accountant. We've got our CFO. We're always chasing money. It's always harder to get paid in the Middle East than Asia. So if you're opening up your business, be prepared. Even though your terms may say 30 days, be prepared to fight and fight hard. You tend to find that the laws, if you want to contest not getting paid, it's very long, drawn out process. So payment and collections with cash being the most important thing you need in business. That's something you're going to really need to keep an eye on to succeed out here. The other thing I just want to cover is working hours. Like you'll find, even though I've got beautiful beach view behind me, you don't spend, I don't care what anyone says and what people write on social media, you don't spend most of your time on the darn beach. You're working really hard. Your clients are working you hard. There is a culture of calling you anytime, any place, anywhere that you really need to adapt to and understand. Over here in the Middle East as well, if you're working on a regional role, Dubai is a Monday to Friday week. Most other countries that you work with are on a Thursday to Sunday week. So you need to be on call if you're running a business or if you've got regional customers for 6, potentially 7 days a week. That's the nature of doing business out here. You're gonna people are just going to expect you to be on call at any time. Other things I think to consider when you move here, the population, like let's look at the Dubai population, is absolutely rapidly swelled. Now it's swelled because obviously a lot of people are interested in moving here. What I've also known, having lived here, been here a long time, is that it's a safe haven for money. So the unfortunate wars going on in Russia, Ukraine, and over in Palestine. That meant a lot of people have moved here. It's seen as a safe haven. A lot of money's come over here as a result of that. But the population has just swelled. And that's because other people have moved here from all parts of the world as well. A lot of people intrigued about what life's here. Infrastructure's playing catch up. Roads, busy, very busy. So getting around, everyone's in a car. Train system, it's good. It's not mature enough. It doesn't connect to the whole of the city. You've got new districts being built. So traffic's something you've got to adapt and learn to. It's not the most unbearable thing in the world, but it's definitely worse than it used to be. So factor in, there's quite an amount of traffic in the roads these days in Dubai. A lot of different nationalities, a lot of Russian, a lot of obviously Arabic, Egyptian, Lebanese, Jordanian, big populations here. Loads of Brits here, Europeans, not so much American, although that's starting to change. A lot of Canadian. Quite a few people coming over from Australasia these days. I've noticed a big influx of people coming in from Hong Kong and Singapore. That's because we got a business there. So a lot of interest from the globalized. Oh, and a huge surge from Africa as well. I must say that, Africa in terms of workers, a lot of people coming in, professionalism from South Africa as well. So, the whole world seems to be congregating, sort of moving into Dubai. Dubai's got a fabulous PR game running behind it, and people are buying into that message. We've seen UAE grow quite a lot as well as a whole. So other people people like Ras Al Khaimah, and especially Abu Dhabi becoming incredibly popular as well. But let me talk about life in Dubai. I've got a family, wife, 3 kids. Schooling out here, very high standard. Schooling is around sort of $50,000 to $70,000. I think that's anywhere between sort of £10,000 to £12,000. Sorry, not 50 to 60,000 dirhams, which is about £10,000 to £12,000. So if you've got kids, you need to factor that cost in. Housing, rents, because of what I said about the amount of people that have moved here, rents have gone up in value. So if you want a house, that you're going to pay a premium for that. Believe it or not, there actually isn't enough houses, I don't think, in Dubai right now. So there is they're playing catch up with the amount of houses there are. Probably thousands are going to be coming into the market in 2-3 years. But right now, as it stands, there's a bit of a shortage on houses. Apartments seem to be getting released quite significantly. I think it's about 40,000 being released this year. So the apartment market is starting to mellow out. The villa market seems to be as busy as I can ever sort of imagine it, really. So that, obviously, what I'm saying is it's not like you land and everything's bingo. It's fantastic. Moving here is quite expensive. Logistics wise, there's a lot to do when you get here. Running a business wise, it's, you've got to fight hard for your money. You've got to get in people's faces. There is a real culture here of having to do business sort of face to face. So be prepared not to hide behind a Zoom. You're going to need to get on the phone. You need to get in front of people. You're going to need to go up and down the Sheikh Zayed Road, which is filled with traffic a lot of the time. And you're going to go and meet people. And you've got to understand that they don't really like that brash, aggressive nature of going, hey, can you do business with me? Can you do business with me? You've got to be friendly with people. You've got to spend time with them. That whole process of getting business takes some time, all right? So you're going to need, probably if you run a business, you're going to need some buffers to get you going, because it's going to take you a while to get customers. It's going to take you a while to get paid by customers. If you come out here and you're working for someone, particularly if you're in a sales job, you're going to have to pick up the lingo and the lie of the land very quickly, all right? The market is competitive out here for employees especially. I think LinkedIn put it, Dubai is like the number 2 most competitive market going. When we put up a job ad in Dubai right now, it probably get about 1,200, sort of 2,000 applicants in 24, 48 hours, okay? Massive competition to get a job here. Again, the world's eyes seem to be on Dubai right now. So I'm just saying this, by the way, it's worth it. I don't want to sound like I'm being doom and gloom, because you have a lovely life here. If you can nail these things, if you can be patient, if you come in here with the right level of expectation, if you've got, if you've got a good company you're working for, if you've got the right ambition, drive, and understanding of what you're coming into, you can have a lovely life here. But what I don't want to do is give you this idea that everything's wonderful. You sprinkle fairy dust here, your gold-plated Rolls Royce picks you up, and away you go. And that, I feel, is what a lot of the rubbish that you see right now coming out on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn even. You've got recruiters just put a picture up of a beach club and go, hey, tax-free money with that's just bollocks. It is really hard to make money here. It's really hard to be successful here. It's hyper competitive, and you've got to be an A player, right? And you've got to come in with the right level of expectation. And hopefully from this video, I've given you a good sense of expectation of what you need to do. And I wish you all the success in the world if you open up here, and feel free to drop me a message, look me up if you want some advice.